I'm here today with Peter Guidera from the Commercial Coalition here at Coldwell Banker, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Burnsville Center. You may have heard that the Burnsville Center was recently sold. It's been a centerpiece of the South Metro retail environment for years and years, and it's certainly in flux, and I wanted an expert here to talk about it. Peter?
Thank you very much, Austin. What's interesting with Burnsville Center is the fact that many people think the entire center was sold, when actually just the small shop area or the common areas of the mall were actually sold, along with the Gordman's and Dick's building. Why is that an issue? The main thing is because there are three other owners that also own parts of Burnsville Center. Sears and their parent company Seritage still owns their building. JCPenney owns their building, and Macy's owns their building. So basically you have four owners that own this entire site.
That sounds like it could be messy.
It has been messy, and it's going to continue to be messy because Sears has had their building for sale for years at a very inflated price. The future of JCPenney is certainly up in the air right now. No one really knows what's going to happen with JCPenney after the next couple of years, as retail is certainly changing as time goes on. Some are questioning the future of Macy's as well. Are department stores of that size going to continue to be viable shopping destinations for customers in the future? There's a side note to that, and what's interesting is that younger kids, 25 and under, are finding malls to be an attractive place to show up these days. So It's really an interesting dichotomy or dilemma of what's going on in the properties. But regarding the future of the mall, the new owner who owns the mall where the small shops are and the Gordman's Dick's building has said that they are going to just try and put new retailers into the property and not do anything in a big fashion to the rest of the center. I find that to be a rather puzzling situation right now, because as someone that's spent 32 years in the retail business and retail leasing business, I don't see a whole lot of opportunity for retailers that we would all like to see in Burnsville Center showing up there.
What kind of retailers are you talking about?
For example, I'm sure everyone in the South Metro would love a big giant Apple store in Burnsville Center. Realistically, at Burnsville Center, you need to have certain co-tenants in order to attract a store, or you need to have a very successful center in order to attract a store like the Apple store. Burnsville Center has neither of those. They are not that successful these days, nor do they have the co-tenants or other attractive tenants that the Apple store would want to be near. So that's one example of a store that everyone would love to have, but it's not going to come to Burnsville Center.
So it sounds like they've got an uphill battle here, and maybe facing a lot of the same challenges that they've faced previously. What do you see happening maybe 3, 5, 10 years down the road with that site?
I actually think that we're 3 to 5 years away from anything happening of any significance at the site. The big thing that needs to happen right now is the four parties involved, Macy's, Penney's, Sears, and the mall owner, all need to work together to figure out a way where they can combine the four assets into one asset and then redevelop the site. Say for example, Burnsville's very interested right now in putting multifamily properties into the city proper. The perfect spot for a big multifamily facility would be in the Sears parking lot between the Sears building and Interstate 35W.
Now, when you talk about multifamily, are you talking apartments? Are you talking condos? What do we look at?
In my opinion, I think the ideal scenario would be, say, a 20 to 30 story building that has a high-end restaurant or two on the top floor, where you can see south and north. You can actually see downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul from the top. Then maybe 6 to 8 floors of hotels, then maybe 6 to 8 of condo, and then 6 to 8 of apartment buildings, something like that. So a pretty high density building where a lot of people can live, who could then also benefit what is left of or in the new Burnsville Center shopping center area.
Right. And that makes sense. I think that mixed use like that has a lot of credence in the South Metro here, because there's just not enough of it.
there is not enough of it, and it is the ideal scenario for that location, because once you get people living in that area who could literally walk via a skyway or an underground tunnel into a new retail center that gets built on the site as those four owners' buildings are all torn down and redeveloped. It's the perfect marriage between retail, residential, housing, even potentially some industrial. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Amazon Fresh stores coming to the Twin Cities.
Okay.
3 or 4 of those have been announced without really being announced, but we know they're coming. This could be a perfect location for something like that, or even a Whole Foods that Amazon owns. Or you could have a multi-use facility owned by Amazon where they have Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, and a distribution center for products that you buy on Amazon. So there's lots of different possibilities that could happen at the site.
I guess we're going to have to stay tuned. Peter, thank you so much, and thanks for what you do with the Coldwell Banker Commercial Coalition.
I appreciate that very much, Austin. Thank you.
I look forward to visiting again with Pete in the future to talk not only about the Burnsville Center, but other things happening in commercial real estate right here around us. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Austin.